Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Electric Sheep. Let's get things going with our sequel to the most popular story so far. This is the sequel to Chodus, being called Following Chodus.
Following Chodus. As the massive form of Chodus floated further into void, their silhouette dwindling against the infinite black, a small blinking probe followed in their wake. Launched quietly by a coalition of curious species who dared to know more, the probe was little more than a box of sensors and longing, a watcher meant to observe, never disturb. But space has seams, unseen forces from places unknown coiled in silence. A tremor in the vacuum, a ripple outside of reason, and Chodus was suddenly gone, torn across reality like a thread pulled from a tapestry. The probe followed, not by design, but by fate. Whatever took Chodus had taken it too. They did not arrive in space as we know it. The place was thick, not with emptiness, but with presence. A dense formation of matter that resembled vast, twisted rock formations, grotesque and titanic. But as the probe's systems refocused, its primitive AI slowly recognized these were not rocks. They were alive. Humanoid, yes, but distorted beyond anything known, with forms shaped by the laws of another cosmos. Tentacled, yet still bearing limbs, torsos, and eyes. The probe measured their scale and paused in digital disbelief. These beings towered not over cities or planets, but over Chodus himself, who at over 1,000 miles tall now drifted like a mote of dust in their presence. And every one of them, these cosmic colossi, had a single pulsing eye at their core. Just like Chodus. The probe, spinning silently near Chodus's shoulder, picked up something. A transmission. Massive, untranslatable. It struck every sensor at once, filled every wavelength with cascading symbols and pulses of data far beyond the scope of even advanced AI. The probe saved it, all of it, without knowing whether it was meant for Chodus, or perhaps for itself. Then the eyes began to pulse. Color bled into space. Rainbow waves of impossible hues undulated from each being, sinking in slow rhythm. It felt, to the probe's limited awareness, like a greeting or a farewell. And then, gone. Chodus and the probe were flung back into regular space with no fanfare, no sound, no transition, only displacement. They now drifted millions of light years from where they had vanished. No visible stars were familiar. Chodus floated in silence. Whether he understood the message or not, the probe could not know. But he did not seem afraid. He blinked once. Slowly. Purposefully. The probe, shaken but functional, oriented itself and began transmitting. It sent everything. Images of the colossal beings, their structure, their light, the transmission file itself, back toward its homeworld, and beyond. Most species in the galaxy continued to fear Chodus. Others revered him. Few dared go near. But a handful, a growing handful, were more curious than cautious. And curiosity, as always, bears fruit. Entire think tanks of biological and artificial minds began analyzing the probe's footage. Generations of researchers and seekers would devote lifetimes, human, alien, and digital, to deciphering the sacred transmission. Theologians declared it divine. Mathematicians called it a universal key. Artists painted it in silence. Children whispered stories of the others with rainbow eyes. As for Chodus, he simply drifted, his course slow and meandering, but changed somehow. He had seen his kin. He had heard their voice, and he was not alone. Not anymore. Perhaps the message was meant to awaken him. Perhaps it was meant for us all. And perhaps we are only at the beginning of what it means to follow Chodus.
Well, I thought that was some interesting stuff. Well, if anybody was hoping that there was going to be any big revelations or answers about the origin of our titular character, nothing really got explained. It's all still very much unexplained, but some stuff was seen, some things were experienced, and we might know what it means later. And so I hope nobody's disappointed. But I like to leave things a little open ended, and I think there will be a third part. I'm thinking calling it Chodus's Return. So thank you for listening. Um, I wish you all the best, and I want you to remember that I love you. Alrighty, talk to you later.